The taxi driver who drove the minicab that Mark Duggan was travelling in just before he was shot dead by police has told a court he'll never be able to wipe the incident from his mind. Mr Duggan's death in Tottenham sparked last summer's riots. Our reporter Nick Beaker is following the case. This is all during the trial of Kevin Hutchinson Foster, who's accused of giving Duggan the gun. And a lot of evidence is coming out, isn't there?
That's right. This minicab driver was giving his evidence today behind a screen to protect his identity. And he described how he was travelling along Ferry Lane in Tottenham on August the 4th last year when three unmarked police cars quickly came up towards his car and hemmed him in. He said at that point his driver, who was Mark Duggan, got out and tried to run away. He said, "At the same time I heard firing, then I saw shots hit Mark Duggan. He fell to the ground." Now, the driver then described how he was dragged from his cab and he was handcuffed. The aftermath of all of this was captured by a member of the public on film. Today, the taxi driver said he couldn't see if Mark Duggan was armed when he was shot. The prosecution claims that he was. The driver did say that the officer who shot Mark Duggan, in his words, looked very angry, and that another police officer was in an extreme rage, like a mad person. Before that, he'd explained how he'd driven his passenger to Leighton, where he said a black man had handed Mark Duggan a cardboard box. The prosecution says that in that was a gun.
And the jury also heard from a police officer who said he found a gun at the scene.
That's right, he was known as R31. He also gave his evidence behind a screen. He was in an unmarked vehicle and he said that he jumped out to stop Mark Duggan escaping when one of his colleagues shot him twice. Shortly afterwards, he searched some grassland, probably about 5 metres away, and he said he found an object. In his words, he said, "As I got closer, it became quite obvious that it was something in the shape of a self-loading pistol that was in a sock." And as you say, Assad, this is all evidence in the trial of Kevin Hutchinson Foster. He denies giving Mark Duggan a gun just 15 minutes before he was shot dead by police, and this case continues.
Nick Beak, thanks very much. Now, still to come tonight.